Hey, what's going on, guys? This is OZ Bulls. You can find me on StockTwits and on Twitter at OZ_Bulls. So, going to go over a little do a recap of a stock I traded this morning. It was a short sell that I decided to get in on. A company called GoGo. Now, they supply internet they're the internet provider for a number of airlines. Turns out that there were some discrepancies with their contract with one of the major companies that they're in business with. Airline company decided to sue them. So, let's zoom out a bit here. This is the close yesterday. This gray section is the pre-market, aftermarket from yesterday, and pre-market today. And as you can see, the stock price tanked. So from about 14 down to, let's see, what's that, about 9.9 at the open, 9.7, somewhere around there. So basically what I'm looking for, when I scan in the morning, I'm looking for big gaps down, okay? I check the news, and depending on how damning the news is, I make a decision as to whether or not I want to watch that stock at the open. Now, this is a pretty big deal when one of their major contracts falls through and they're being brought into a lawsuit because of it. I mean, that's really not a good sign for a company. So basically, I was watching it pre-market. It was kept dipping down. And I tell myself anytime I'm looking at a short sell that if, in fact, this first opening bar clears, the previous half hour of trades and continues upwards above that, I just find something else to trade in the morning. As you can see, this stock didn't do that. It barely broke above these moving averages and the EMAs here, got above the VWAP, which is the volume weighted average price, and then it dove back down to about $8. And I opened my short sell at $9.50. So I was able to lock in some pretty good gains on this one. Now, one of the main factors I'm looking for is the VWAP. This purple line that's highlighted on the screen. That is the volume weighted average price. Essentially, based on the volume of shares that's traded, that's where the price should be, or theoretically where investors think the price should be. So anytime you see price drop below the VWAP, that essentially means that the people who did own the shares decided to sell, and that they don't feel the stock is worth what the VWAP says it should be. Now, that's a really basic rundown of a VWAP and how it works, but overall, if you get a stock price dropping below the VWAP, it means that the sentiment is that the stock deserves to be further down. The price should be further below its current price. So when you see the VWAP fail like that, and a bar drops down below the lowest point of the opening candle, it's a really good indicator to get in on a short. So I got it at $9.50, wrote it down to $8. Bought out there. I figured, $8 move is good enough. And from there, we had a move back upwards. So as you can see, it got down into the 8s. And then it crossed back above the VWAP. Okay, and at the same time, markets were rebounding this morning, which again, if the market sentiment is positive and a company is in the oversold range, can be a great opportunity for a bounce. So once it broke back above the VWAP, it had really good buying pressure here. I decided to jump back in, and we rode it back up for about another 40 cents. I ended up selling and closing out the day very, very green. And yeah, I guess that's about it. So if you guys have any questions about, my chart setup or my scanners or anything at all, any technical questions, even if it's a beginner question, there's no stupid questions. Anybody who wants to get into stock trading needs to learn the basics. And the only way you're going to learn is either by reading a ton of books, which I attempted to do and it sucked, or you can find someone who's knowledgeable and who's willing to share what they know. So that's what I'm trying to do with this. If you guys ever have questions, hit me up. It's OZ_Bulls on StockTwits and Twitter. And yeah, hopefully one day you guys can learn to profit as well too. All right, have a good one.